Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to another section of the SSS conversation, and we have been having this continuously in the last 1 month plus. And honestly, for me, it has been an amazing and interesting conversation with engineers and founders from different walk of life. And today, just like on another day, like we promised on Monday, that we're going to be having another insightful conversation. I have a speaker. I will give her the honors to introduce herself. But yeah, we're going to be having an insightful conversation as always. The comment sections are open. You can, send your comments, ask your questions. Or if you're too shy, we can actually do that in the community. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and also hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on any of the information that might be coming from us. Without further ado, let's meet our speaker. Hi, Elizabeth. Good afternoon.
Hi, Gloria. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Welcome to the SSS conversation. So Elizabeth is one of our community members, right? And just like we promised that we're always going to be getting people that can speak on a particular niche based off of experience. And so far in the community, we have been able to do that successfully. So today I'm just going to give Elizabeth the opportunity to tell us about herself, what she does, who she is, so that we get to know her better. So Elizabeth, please, do us the honor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Gloria. So, good
Mhm.
afternoon, everyone, or depending on where you are listening from. My name is Elizabeth Agada. I'm a software developer, a community builder, tech advocate. You can just call me all round in tech, right? So, I do a lot of things in the tech space, right? So, I
Mhm.
have few years experience, about four, in the tech space, and I've seen a lot happen. Like I've been able to see a lot of products start and its growth and all of that. So it's amazing to be meeting everyone and to have this beautiful conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually amazing to be meeting you and to have this amazing conversation with you. So previously we had talked about building a minimum viable product, but I also know that knowledge is inexhaustible. It's not something you
Yeah.
can finish. Yeah, so it's
Right.
something we can always talk about. It's always something we can always get insights from different people, different mindsets, different perspective. And today we'll be talking about building a minimum viable product, the importance, why it's crucial for startups, and what we need to know, both as a non-technical person and as a technical person. So, which would bring us from the questions that we have, based off of the questions that we have based off of the community and other people that we ask, so what do you want, what would they be interested to know in respect to this topic. One would be, what is a minimum viable product. I know we have asked this question before, but from your own perspective, what would you define a minimum viable product to be? Because as a non-tech person, if I'm hearing a minimum viable product, an MVP sounds familiar, but a minimum viable product does not. And most people
Yeah.
do not know that that's the full meaning of it. So how would you explain what an MVP or a minimum viable product is?
Okay. So let me start by saying it's actually very interesting to see or hear that there are people that are not in the tech space as audience here, right? Yeah, it's beautiful because I've actually been around tech people a lot. So I want to hear other persons and then see them understand where we're coming from, right? So a
Mm,
minimum viable product and MVP, as we all know it, is I normally call it the simplest, right, version of any product.
mm,
Just take it as that. It's the simplest version of any product, like something that has the core feature. Okay, now let me say you want to have a product that, no, let me not even come from a product. You want to wash a plate. You want to solve a problem around washing of plates. What is
Hmm.
what is that thing going to solve? Washing of plates. So that's just minimum product. I want to wash
Hmm.
plate. A solution that washes that plate. That's just it. So forget about other aesthetics that we're bringing in, the designs,
Hmm.
all those crazy sophisticated tools and all of that, right? So is it
Hmm.
going to wash that plate for me? It's minimum. Just take it like
Okay.
the simplest version of whatever solution you're offering.
So I'm using your example. It will be I want to wash a plate. What is the minimum viable product? So it will be having the person washing the plates. Just wash the
Thank you.
plates.
We
So
can see it like
yeah, we don't have to be worried about what the person looks like, what the credential of the person is. That would be extra. But the minimum viable product would be the person washing these plates, getting the plates done.
as far as
So
going
which
to
is
the father,
really very yeah,
yeah.
that's very easy to understand actually. So I usually ask this question, right? For a non-tech person, we are more familiar. I'm using we because I recently just got incorporated into the tech space. So I'm not
Oh
really as
wow.
familiar with as it. So for a non-tech person, I am more familiar with prototypes rather than MVPs, right? I'm
Yeah.
more familiar with drafts, first draft rather than MVP.
Yeah.
So how would you differentiate? Like what are the difference between a prototype and an MVP?
Okay. So it's very simple. Just like you said, you just called a prototype a draft, right? So a
Mm.
prototype is more like you visualizing an MVP. Okay, let me
Oh,
put it this way. A prototype is just the image of that viable product. The viable product
okay.
is actually a product that has a core feature, something that people can actually use. A prototype cannot be used by anyone. You can only visualize what is going to happen with this product. So a
Yeah.
prototype is actually a visualization of a minimum viable product, while the
Mm.
minimum viable product is actually a product that a user can actually use. Yeah, if that makes sense, any sense at all.
Yeah, it does actually.
So
It
I
does.
actually
It
want
makes
to be so I actually want to
sense.
be very simple. Like I want to come in very simple, right? Let not start using all the tech words and all of that, right? Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
want everyone at home. So yeah.
Yes, because like we have like other people that might just be looking for an answer. They are looking to dive into the tech space. They might not understand all of the technicalities that might come with, a lot of jargons from the tech space. So it is better to keep it simple as possible. And thank you for that. So in the course of our conversation, you mentioned once that you have built two MVPs.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to be asking a few questions based off of experience, right? And based off of experience, building your first MVP, and from building your first MVP, what have you learned that are the necessary, like what are the necessary features you think should be included when creating an MVP? Say, for instance, I want to, there are a lot of tech problems that we can solve these days. But let me give you from a personal experience, like a blocker a blocker that I experienced of recent, and I was thinking, I just wish there would be a tech thing to help me do this, right? So we have a lot since the emergence of internet, of network and everything, and then now we have trading, forex, and crypto and the rest, right? And there are some people that cannot phantom the knowledge of doing all of this by themselves because like they have a lot of things that they're doing, but they do want to dive into trading and everything. And I was having a conversation with I think a colleague, and I was like, it would be nice if we'd get a software or a tech tool that can help us do this trading. All we just need to do is invest. So I'm putting my money there, and someone is doing the analysis and doing the investment. We just get the dividend and the rest. So say I'm building something like that. The goal is that it can, enter into the market for me. What are the necessary features that you think should be in an MVP that is looking towards, getting to that point? Um, did
Hi,
you
can you
hear
hear
me?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you get my question?
No, no, I think, can you come again? Sorry, my network kind of glitched.
Okay, so yeah, my question is, if I'm trying to build a software or an app or something that can help, you know, do a function, do something, I'm trying to solve a problem. And what do you think are the necessary features that should be in this MVP when I'm starting? What are the necessary features that makes up an MVP?
Okay, so when you said if you're trying to solve a problem, like you're trying to build a product, now to answer that question effectively, I would want to know what kind of product you want to build. But if I want to like answer it generally in terms of building an MVP per se, right? The very first
Mm,
thing you have to do to build an MVP is to know what you are solving. What problem?
mm,
Because most times, the thing is, right? A lot of persons have, if it's ideas, we have a whole lot of ideas. Like you can wake up in the morning and you have an idea. That's it. Like a lot of persons
yeah.
have an idea. But recently I had someone said something. He said, it's not just you having an idea, right? That if
Mm,
you want to actually build a product as a startup, right? You're supposed to like look for, identify a problem. That's the very first place to start. It's not just I
mm,
want to build this product. Okay, if you stand up and say, okay, I want to build a product that will actually ease the way people wash their plates, and then nobody even needs that product because I can actually stand up and wash my plate. Why do I need that
mm,
product, right? So the very
yeah.
first place to start is to identify a problem, right?
Mm,
That actually have these people in a place where they will need a solution. I don't know if that's
mhm.
clear. So
Yeah, okay.
it starts with you
Very clear.
identifying a problem. Okay, there is a problem, right? Okay, I've identified a problem. Now, what's the solution? That's the next step. What can I actually do to solve this problem? That's where you now
Mm,
start of that product in relation to that problem that you've actually identified, right? So that's where building an MVP come in. So one is start from identifying a problem, right? Then what kind of solution can I prefer to this problem that I've just identified, right? That's
mm,
where, okay, what kind of MVP should I start working on, right? So I want to chip in some of the ones that we built, but then we are not there yet. So start from identifying the problem, then the solution, right? What kind of solution can I provide to this problem, right? And then
mhm,
another thing is, see, just start building, right? Once you're able to identify a problem, right? And then you have a solution in your brain, okay, I have a solution to this. Start strategizing, right? What can I do
mm,
to start working on this solution? I hear people say you can actually be building a product for like 6 months, 1 year. I would say 4 to 12 weeks. Honestly, because why keep it there? Just start building, right? Because one thing about me is
mm.
I've actually had so many experience that I've learned from, right? I also have products that I've abandoned, right? So I wouldn't want other persons that, especially people that are starting out, to actually do that kind of mistakes. Start building, put it out there. That's why it's called an
Mm.
MVP. It's not something that needs to be perfect. Just have the simplest version of it, something that anybody can actually use and it will solve an immediate problem. Then you're good to go. So
Yeah.
identify the problem, get the solution. Okay, what kind of solution can I prefer? Then start building. Start building that MVP. You got it. Like you have everything that you can actually do to bring that idea to life. So why not? And another thing around building an MVP. What else? What haven't we covered? I think that's it basically for a start.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. For, for futures. Okay. That actually answers the question. I actually wanted to give an example of like a problem. So I mentioned initially that, for instance, mm, for instance, I was having a conversation with a friend recently, right? And I'm like, okay, with the advancement of technology, we can do a lot of things with like financial decisions, like crypto, like forex,
Yeah.
and the rest, right? But there are some people that really want to go into this thing, but they don't have the technical know-how. Of course, there are ways where we can learn them, but other people do not have the levity of time to actually
Yeah.
do learning the process, trading, and giving it your all, right? So I was speaking to a colleague of mine. I was like, I really want to do this, but I'm so lazy because I'm always tired and I'm always busy. I wish there was a tool that I can use to trade. I would just do he would just be doing the trading for me. I would just make a payment somewhere, like an investment, and based off of agreement, we can share the dividend or profit that comes out of the entire trading platform. And we're just talking about it. So say I want to build a software, probably an AI software that can do trading for people. That is deep. Now, that's the problem, and the solution is
Yeah.
building a software that can do that. What do you
Yeah.
think are the necessary beginning features that should be included in an MVP like that?
Okay, yeah. So there's actually a product like that. Is I think Flash something like that. Yeah, that actually. So it's actually smart contracts that are being written for those kind of. So smart contracts are like transactions. So you hard code these smart contracts to be able to perform a particular transaction.
Mm,
Transaction doesn't have to just be so in the blockchain space, transaction could be anything, not just money. I know if we hear transaction, most times it's money,
Right, sharing
and
money,
yeah,
yes.
of course. So so there are smart contracts that write this code that happens
Mm,
to help you make trade. You can actually trade like I've heard of a smart contract that can actually help you, like it does the trading in seconds. If you have the gain, you have it. If you don't have, your money is gone, right?
mm,
So some of the features that are necessary for a product like that. So I'm not like very deep into blockchain, and I'm just starting out with Web3, exploring and all of that. But some of the things I
mm,
would say, definitely you will need a smart contract, right?
mm-hmm.
And then you actually need, of course, an interface, because where else can anybody actually see that product to interact
Yeah.
with, right? And so you need
Mm-hmm.
an amazing UI, which is the user interface for that product. So if you're talking about features that you need, one is the interface, and one of the basic thing in the feature on the interface will be um, maybe a button that will allow you to make certain um, events, to allow maybe a button that will say, okay, impute the number of coins you want to trade with or whatever, right? So just those basic things that will allow you to trade will be good. And
Yeah.
then the AI part you're saying, I mean, this year in the Web3 space, a lot is happening around AI agents. We call them AI agents, right? Yeah, so you do AI that do those kind of stuff that you just said, like trade for you. Yeah, so they do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, they can actually match you with jobs. I think worked I've worked with some persons on something like that that could actually link you up with Web3 jobs, opportunities and learning platforms. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of things are happening in the tech space of recent, and it's going wild. I mean, the times are changing compared to the last 10 years. I don't think tech was so much of a big deal as much as it is
Ex-
right now.
Exactly.
So a lot
Yeah.
of things are changing, and we're just glad that we are in that time that these changes are happening. And luckily, we have like places where we can learn more and grow as these things like keep happening, so that we don't get lost in transit when this change really become. I mean, they're already a
I
norm, but when they
I
become
agree.
more of a norm than now, yes. So
Yeah.
my next question would be, what's the best way to build an MVP on a limited budget? Now, we have spoken about, oh, I want a UI UX interface to be like standard, and I have to know the problem and everything. But from the parts where you know the problem to where you are telling people about, oh, do you think this is a problem that really needs a fixing? And getting all of this feedback, and then creating this MVP, getting it out like in terms of marketing, so that people know that you're actually building something. You're not building it for yourself, you're building it for people to use. Now, to
Mm-hmm.
get to that point, it must have like it's a lot of, if you want to put it in budget, it's a lot. But if you have a limited budget, how do you get all of these things done?
Like putting it out there so that people
Yeah.
will see. I mean, I think the very first place you want to start with, right? That means after you have built that product. Is that what you're saying? You've already built
I
the
know
product.
why. Not when you have built the product, while you are building the MVP. How do you build an MVP on a budget? I think that's the question. Yes.
Okay, on a budget.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so how you do that? I mean, first thing you have to like have the skill to be able to build a product. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first place. And if you don't have a skill, then you leverage. Now, one thing I tell people about tech is not like it's not everybody that will actually write code. That's just the truth, right? So tech it's leverage. Leverage at every point, right? If you are not the one building, you don't have the skill, find a team. That's where you start from. Find
Mm-hmm.
people that you can build together, right? Talk about the benefit at the end of the day. Okay, if there's equity in it, if there's a pool money pool price or whatever it is, right? Talk about it. Now the first point is getting people that can actually build that product. That's the first
Yeah.
top for you, right? So after
Mm-hmm.
getting these people, you work with them. Like, see, you have, so I'm not here to actually do perspire to aspire kind of motivation, right? But if you want to build an MVP, you just have to put your neck into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an instance with one of the MVPs we do. It's actually a decentralized system for document storage. You can actually store your document files, whatever, right? And then it
Mm-hmm.
can actually mint it into an NFT. So NFTs are like non-fungible tokens where you can actually have an identifier where nobody has that kind of thing. It's just you. Once you meet your document as NFT, it gives you that there's this metadata on it where nobody can have that kind of it. So when it comes to file verification, you are sure that this is actually authentic, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for a product like that, we have to work as a team, right? And then everyone actually understood their responsibilities and roles. Now, we are humans, right? And then we tend to like have times where we lag and all of that. But if you reiterate the purpose of that product to everyone's hearing, right? They'll be sure to make that product come alive, right? So one thing I would say is after you have gotten how to come about bringing that product to life, which is getting a team, put in the work and bring that product to life, right? Have
Mm-hmm.
timeline. Oh, and very importantly, don't forget project managers. You have to get project managers because a lot of persons, a lot of mistake that people starting out do is they tend to feel as if I can manage a product. You cannot see everybody has a skill that they have actually put in time, resources, energy into it, and they've become good at it. So you can't do everything. You can't be the developer and be the manager. It's going to fail. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to actually have people that are serious, that are in with you in that dream. And then your product can scale, can fly, or come out at the very
Uh, Elisa, can you hear me? Your network is a bit bad, so I kind of lost you for like a second.
okay. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, okay.
So, of course, I understand the place of having all of these people, like having a team when you're building something, and having a project manager, having someone that would do your marketing, having someone that would, you know, help all of these things to come alive. But we should not also forget the place where initially you were just a software engineer and you're trying to transition into, something else, but you don't have the funds to do that and you're trying to be on a budget. As much as you don't want to compromise quality for the money, you also know that it's not something you can afford as much. So how do you do all of this thing while working with a very limited budget? Like you cannot accommodate all of the extra teams that might come with, building an MVP. So how do you do that in that case, in that scenario?
Okay, I think I now understand where you're coming from. So the secret here is the fact that that's why I said get a team.
Um,
People, can you hear
your
me?
network is breaking, Elizabeth. I cannot hear you.
Oh, oh my goodness. Should I go out and come back? Hi Gloria, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yeah, so at any point if you can't hear me, just let me know.
Okay, sure.
All right, so like I said, talking about budget. So most times the secret here is get, like I said, get a team, right? You people are going to work without money. That's just the truth. So your
Mm,
MVP has to be out there, right? So how you're going to get fund, because that's why they call it an MVP, right? MVPs are
mm,
something that you actually build even without money, without budget, you can actually build an MVP. It's very much possible,
mm,
right? That's why it's advised that you build that MVP and put it out there. Now, what that does is it actually attracts investors. So if investors actually see a need for that particular solution, then they invest in it. So at first, you cannot actually tell somebody, oh, I have an idea to build a software that will actually help is the way we wash plates. Just bring your money, let me start building it. Of course, nobody is going to do that, right? So
mm,
they don't just bank, they will not bank on your prospect. They want to see something. That's why we call it an MVP, right?
yeah.
So build something. If it's your family you want to tell them to actually give you money for data or whatever thing. Have people to volunteer, the marketing team, have people to just do things, right? And then you put that MVP out there first. Once it's out
Mm,
there, and then you'll be able to have investors seeing need for it, then that's where you start getting that fund and all of that.
mm,
Yeah, but
mm.
if you want to build an MVP, I don't think anybody is going to give you money. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, totally understand that. So let's say, for instance, right? We have a software engineer that has an idea, a spectacular idea, right? And you decide to be a co-founder for to a person that probably has the funds. So you have the idea, you have the technical skills to get this into life, to bring this vision into life. And then you have a co-founder who probably has the funds and also has like ideas, because definitely your ideas must align for you to be able to work together as co-founders. Um, but then you are the one that has the idea. You're the one that have the skill of putting together all of this thing. And then the non-technical co-founder, it does not have as much idea. Now this question is directed to people who are in this kind of scenario. Well, how do you think they can mitigate like getting the MVP sorted? Like what do you think a non-technical co-founder can do in a relationship in a setting like that to help the technical founder, to help him take some weight off the shoulder and like help in the entire process of building an MVP?
Okay. So in this scenario, is it just the co-founder and then the technical person?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay, I say in this scenario that you just stated, right? Is it just the founder, I mean the founder and then the technical person who is the co-founder?
Sorry, I cannot hear you anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I had to change location. I thought maybe it might probably be my network. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, yeah, you can go on. Sorry.
Okay, so I was asking if the scenario you just stated, right? Is it the founder who is someone that has the money, and then the technical person? Is it just two of them on that team?
Oh no, no, no. So they
Or
have
they
like
could
a
actually,
team. Yes,
uh,
just a technical and a non-technical founder, but they have other people on the team. Yes.
okay, so how can they actually help the founder who has the money understand the? Is that your question?
No.
Sorry.
Let's say for instance I have money, but I do not have knowledge of how to do anything when you concerns software engineering or developing or anything. But I have
Yeah.
an idea. I'm the one that came up with the idea. I said, okay, this is the problem that we need to solve. I met somebody that could build this product from scratch for me because, and then I found out that our goals align, and then we became founders, co-founders
Yeah.
to this project, right? I don't have I don't have a technical skill, but I have ideas and I have the funds to, support this idea. How do you think, aside being the cash flow of this project, how do you think I can help in this scenario? Yes.
Okay, so with money, they say money make things happen, right? Money, um, what's that Bible verse? Sorry, money answers all things in a way,
Yeah.
right? So you actually have someone that has an idea and has money. I tell you the truth, if your product is something that is going to solve a problem, then it will fly.
Mm. Hello, Elizabeth, can you hear me there? Hello?
I'm so sorry, Gloria. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Sorry, everyone in the audience. I mean, Nigeria factor. We are sorry. Yeah, so you have someone with an idea and money. Obviously, how that
Mhm.
person can actually help that product to actually see the light of the day is to I don't know. It has to be based off of their agreement, right? What's the agreement? We are already founder and co-founder, right? So you wouldn't say, okay, this person is going to be paying you for building the product. One thing I would
Mhm.
say, there's no how do they call this thing? There's no one way to actually do this thing. Everybody has what works for them, right? You might decide to, okay, on the team, you'll be paying them to build that product. Yeah, some persons are like that, right? You have an idea, you don't have the skill, but you have an idea, then you can just get some persons to build that product. You just be giving them maybe stipends or pay them as developers, right? If they build that
Mm.
product becomes yours. So this
Mhm.
question is actually it's something that I'll say, okay, look at it's not like a yes or no answer or something like that, right? It's different. So it actually what works for the both of you or the team to bring that product to life.
Okay.
So he can use this money to, like, especially in marketing, if he can put that money into
Mm.
marketing, then it will actually really help that product to scale. Because marketing, hyping, all those influencing are actually one thing that gives any product its value to an extent, aside from the
Yeah.
problem it's solving. Yeah, so
Uh,
something around.
I think, yeah. Yes, I think that answers the question. You can try and put more effort as a non-technical founder into the marketing so that it can fly when the team have been able to, scale up the preparation and production of these products in the MVP stage, which is really amazing. So my next question would be for engineers that sometimes you can get carried away. You're building something and you're so passionate about it, and it's an MVP, but most times you just forget to just keep adding and adding things and adding things and adding things. Like you get new ideas come to you every time, and because you can code them into reality, you're just busy coding and coding. So what are like common pitfalls? What are the common mistakes that you think people make when creating an MVP?
One on the top of the list will be over engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course, because I mean, I know how exciting it is for you to see your button flying on your interface. Yeah, as a
Mm,
designer, developer, or whatever, right? I know how you want to see this function doing this and that and that. But with an MVP, it's not like that, mostly, honestly. You don't over engineer a feature. At the end of the day, you go out there and nobody wants that feature.
mm,
That's the problem. Now, that's why an MVP is an MVP, a minimum viable product. Don't actually give it another name, right? Make sure you put that MVP out there, because one of the problem now is you are going to waste time and money. Yes, if you are overdoing things around an MVP. Hi Gloria, can you still hear me?
yeah,
Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So
I
it
can
will
hear you.
actually
I
save
can
you.
hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a better location. My network is lagging a bit, so that's why. I can hear you. Go on.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, so I said it's going to waste your time and your money, right? Staying
Mm-hmm.
and over engineering a feature, over engineering the entire thing. It's no longer an MVP if you are doing all of that, right? Because one of the important, or some of the important resources in any human's life is time and money, right? Nobody wants to waste their money or time. So
Mm.
why stay on a product over engineering it, then you go out there and nobody wants it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the problem about staying on it forever. That's why I said 4 to 12 weeks, 3 months. Put it out there, right? Show it to your family members. Start from them. Start from your friends. You don't have to actually take it out there. I mean, one thing I would say is start from hackathons and projects, expositions like that, right? But before
Mm.
that, your family, your friends, show it to them. They can use it, right? Another thing I would say is get a landing page for your product, whatever it is, right? More like having a wait list of what people can actually come and see. If they
Mm-hmm.
want a landing page that people can come and see, and then a wait list, maybe sign up. If it is out, we are going to like inform you or something. So something around that. So I would say some of the pitfalls, some of the problems with staying and trying to see that this thing is perfect. There's nothing that will ever be perfect. That's just the truth. We will keep kidding ourselves and deceiving ourselves, but nothing can actually get perfect, because the longer you are holding on to it, the less the excitement of putting it out there, because there is going to be something that is wrong. There will always be something that you want to be update. There will always be something that you want to
Um.
Yeah, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
I can
Oh
hear
my
you now.
goodness. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, like I said, so staying too long over engineering will only waste your time, your money, and will at the end of the day keep that product in the dark where nobody can see it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no need overdoing it. Once you have like the most simplest version of it, if it's going to actually have people save their documents, right? Please put it out there. It's something. One thing
Okay.
though, I'll always tell people, please have a great UI. Just make sure your UI is actually appealing, that people can actually
Mm,
see that you're okay, okay, let me stay a little longer on this product. So just
mm-hmm.
whatever you're doing, invest in your UI. That's one thing I'll say.
Mm.
I know a lot of people in my community will laugh about this, but you people understand. Yeah.
So I can relate to that in terms of user interface, right? Because if I am a user and you give me probably an app or a software website to visit, if I'm having difficulties in trying to maybe click something more than twice, it's already giving me too much stress. I'm like, okay, I think there's other like many problems with this. And even if you're going to work on it probably on a much later basis, I will still have a first impression on it. Like,
True.
there are some things that they
True.
were not working when I started using it. So I think that advice is very important for any creator, any software developer, engineer, and anything that they call themselves these days, because I'm not really quite familiar with the terms.
Students are a lot. Yeah.
Invest in your your user interface. Very, very important. Um, so we have actually spent a lot of time talking about this, and I hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I have. But I still have like one more question, final question before we go. So say my questions does not cover most of the things that you probably want to talk to the community about. Is there like anything you want to, like final words that you would want to leave with them, for the people that are listening?
Okay. So while we are talking about MVP, right? Startups, MVP, I would also want to say one thing, right? So, because I've actually seen a lot of misconception when it comes to get a tech skill. As much as it's
Mm-hmm.
important, even everybody that will have to be in tech, and it's very okay, right? Because I see a lot of things talk around get into tech. There are a lot of other fields, disciplines, a lot of them, right?
Mm,
Exactly. So one of the things I normally tell people, please, where you know you love, like you have interest in, one thing you always do with tech is you leverage it. You can be
mm,
somebody that is from another background, but leverage it in a sense that okay, you can actually get somebody like you said, you have somebody that has an idea, he has the money, get people to build it. I don't necessarily have to know how to write code or write smart contract. I can get people to do it for me, right?
yeah.
So when it comes to tech, I will tell people leverage instead of forcing yourself to do what you don't even understand. At the end of the day, you spend 2 years, no reward for your investment, which is time and money, right? So
Yeah.
please do that. Make sure you leverage tech, but don't be don't be a part of the bad wagon of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
The favorite thing in
Actually.
the crypto community. Yeah. So
Oh,
please,
the formal narrative is really strong. I don't think a lot of people speak about it enough. A lot of
exactly.
people these days, you see, oh, how to earn a tech skill, or you want to be a tech girly, or you want to be a tech bro, and I'm like, it's not everybody that's going to, be a tech sis or a tech bro or a tech
Exactly. And it's cool.
anything.
It's okay.
It's fine. I understand the advancement of technology getting to the point where it feels like very soon AI is going to take most of our jobs away. But as much as AI is going to be taking those jobs, like the ones that we are afraid of, they're also creating opportunities for us to learn other things and learn other skills that does not
Yeah.
really involve. and they are like very important. We get a lot of job descriptions these days that you are thinking, "Hmm, I didn't think something like that used to exist." I mean, now we have things like QA automator. We have people who are just there in terms of operations, because as much as AI is going to be helping you do your work, you also need people that will oversee it and actually know that these things are getting done.
You get.
So it's not, it's, yeah, the formal anxiety is spreading, and I just hope that a lot of people know that it is fine not having one in 2025. Like, not having a concept and an idea of what tech is and how to leverage it might not really be a good thing, but not having a tech skill is not it's not a crime. You didn't offend anybody.
It's not because some persons actually get, because I've seen someone get depressed because they are not understanding coding, and then you are preaching you have to learn how to write code. I mean, that's not cool, right? So let's just let people do them and leverage tech in whatever capacity. Is it using it to actually learn whatever field, like AI? You can use it to learn a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. Just use tech, but you don't have to like
Thank
know how to write code.
Yes, I think this is like the best advice we have gotten in, I think, in this. You don't necessarily, like, just be patient, be calm. The place
Yeah,
that you are and is working for you is good enough, okay? You want
it's
to
good.
grow, you want to increase, it's fine. You can do that if you feel like it's something you want to do. But because you're not doing it does not mean that you are missing out, honestly. Because you're not
Exactly.
doing does not mean that you're not following the trend, does not mean that you're not actually fulfilling purpose. So stay where you are. But if you need
And
to
that's
grow,
the word,
grow. Yeah,
purpose.
grow, and meet your purpose, but you don't need to follow the crowd. Sometimes following the crowd does not lead to anywhere tangible. That's a personal experience example. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for the insights and the advice. I'm sure the rest of the people watching and from the community are also very appreciative of your time. Currently, you said that you mentioned you were co-founding something. Do you want to share with us so that at least we know what you're doing, and if there's anything that the community can come in terms of probably product testing or something?
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. So I and our founder, we started working on a product around health. So it's more or less like a system that will actually manage how blood donations work. Just like you have blood banks, all those, yeah, systems like
Mm.
that. So we created an it's actually an MVP for now, right? That will actually
Mm.
have people send out more like those hospital facilities. Now, those facilities are blood banks, right? They can be able to send
Mm.
out requests in need of blood, whatever kind of blood type, right? So that system allows them to make requests. So people in the community or like internet can actually see that request, and they can actually put
Come.
in a reply that okay, I am available to donate this blood sample or whatever, right? So aside
Mm.
that, because we discover a lot of other blood bank actually have that functionality, so we added an inventory part of it where it takes inventory of day to day activities in that facility, whatever happens, right? Be it
Oh.
somebody comes and actually take a blood sample, that actually writes out an inventory of the time, the person, his number, whatever you can think of, right? So it keeps
Mhm.
an inventory of all of that. So that's our product. We're
Wow.
still working on
That's
it.
really, yeah, that's really good. I mean, that solves like a very major growing problem recent, because I know that a lot of people that want to, they see these um help messages from, Twitter, that's like, oh, they need a particular blood type at this hospital to save this particular person, and people are like, how do I get there? Oh, we didn't know on time and stuff like that. So that would actually really help. I mean, we are in the community, so you can share your progress with us. Any way you think any member or the community can help, we are always available. If you have questions, there are people there that can answer. I think there are other people too that have created MVPs, passed the stage, getting to the point of being a founder, and they've been founders for like over 4 years. So
Yes.
if you need any assistance, you can, reach out to the community and there'll be people to help. To the rest of
Okay.
us that are watching, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for making our time to join the SSS conversation. As always, I hope that this has been insightful. I mean, we promise insights and we are giving insights in the ETF community. Thank you so much also, Elizabeth, for your time. I really, really, really appreciate. It was lovely to meet you and talk to you as
Thank you.
always. Until Friday, when we're going to be having another insightful conversation with another amazing person. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, comment, ask your questions if you have any. And if right now you can't think about it at the top of your head, you can always put the questions in the community, and there will be somebody ready and available to answer. On that note, let me let all of us have a wonderful day. Bye for now. Bye, Elizabeth.
Bye. Bye, Gloria.